If you're still losing 7 out of every 10 customers at the checkout, it's not your product, it's your follow-up. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact abandoned cart flow that's helped my clients recover up to 5 times more revenue on autopilot. Now, most e-com brands are leaving piles of money on the table every single day, just because their abandoned cart emails are either too basic or they're completely broken. But what if I told you that with these 6 emails, you could recover more lost sales than most brands generate with paid ads? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the exact structure, timing, psychology, and copy that separates the elite brands from everyone else. I'm also going to share examples of the email designs that we use and how you can set this all up within Klaviyo. Now, this is the exact system that I've used to help ecom brands scale 7 and 8 figure stores, and it's all yours completely for free if you watch till the end of this video. So if you're ready to stop losing warm customers and start converting cart abandoners into consistent buyers, then this video is for you. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, before we begin, I think it's important to have a bit of a reality check. The reality of ecom is that traffic is getting more and more expensive every single year. It's a very crowded and very competitive space, and paid ads are getting very, very expensive, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Now, brands are spending anywhere from tens of thousands of dollars a month all the way up to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month every single month on their paid ads. But the reality is that only about 3% of web traffic converts to purchases. Now, about 10 people add to cart for every 100 web users on average, but 70% of those people don't complete their purchase. Now, imagine 7 out of 10 customers walking into your store, filling up their carts, and then leaving without buying. Now, that is the reality that e-commerce brands face every single day. So this is kind of what it looks like. For every 100 users, you have about 10 people that add to cart, and about 3% of those people actually end up completing the purchase. That means 7 people out of every 10 are not actually completing the order. Now, without having a system in place, you're going to be losing revenue every single day. These people are not just nobodies. They came very close to placing an order, but if you don't have a system to bring them back to try to get them to place an order, you're going to be losing a ton of revenue. Not to mention burning through even more cash to then acquire even more traffic to then hopefully get this number up. But what we should be focusing on is trying to get these people up here to place an order. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you everything that we do to try to maximize the amount of people that go from here to here. So first of all, who are these abandoners? Most people who abandon your cart, they are serious buyers. They're not just nobodies. Just because they didn't place an order, it doesn't mean that they're not planning to. If you think about it, these people found your product, they showed interest by adding it to their cart, they took action, but they paused just before purchase. They are not cold traffic, and they shouldn't be treated like that. They are warm, convertible prospects. You just need the right strategy to reactivate them. Now, here are the key buyer mindsets. So the different types of people that could abandon a cart. First one is the most common, which is I'll come back later. It's a shopper that plans to finish the purchase, but they just got distracted. It could be something like work, their kids, another tab on their web browser. They got a social media notification. It's just someone who was interested in buying, but then just got distracted with something else. The next type of abandoner is someone that is just not sure yet. So they're hesitating due to uncertainty. They're unsure. Will this fit me? Can I trust this brand? What's the return policy? The next one is a researcher. So these are shoppers who treat your cart like a wish list. So they add a product to their cart just so it gets saved and it's easy for them to find when they come back to your website. So they want to save the item on your website, but then they want to do a bit of shopping and research before they make a final decision. Next one is the cost sensitive shopper. So these shoppers get shocked by unexpected shipping fees or taxes at the checkout, and they might decide to just wait for a promo or a payday or a better price. So of course they're interested in buying, but the total price right at the end of the checkout just was a little too much for them. So they thought that they might wait. And lastly is the mobile scroller. So this is someone who adds to a cart from their mobile phone, but doesn't complete the order because maybe the small screen was too inconvenient, didn't have their payment info saved on their phone, or they just want to finish the purchase on the desktop later on. So these are all of the key different sort of mindsets that someone could have if they're abandoning a cart. Now, our goal is to resolve all of these objections for our customers. All right, so what makes an elite abandoned cart flow? I'm glad you ask. So first of all, the most important thing is having the right triggers. Now, I would say 90% of brands get this wrong. Most brands only send an email if someone abandons from the checkout page. So just like this, meaning that any shopper who just clicks the add to cart button, which is this button over here, and then don't actually click this checkout button to get you there, they don't get sent any emails. So this is one of the most commonly misunderstood flows. Brands think that they're sending emails to both of these type of users, but they're actually only sending emails to abandoned checkout. So what you'll actually find is a lot of people just add to cart and don't actually click the checkout button. So you need to have both flows set up and firing together. And the way that you set them up is having the right trigger set up. So first of all, for the abandoned cart flow, it uses a trigger called added to cart. And I think the reason that this is most commonly missed is because this isn't set up by default on Klaviyo. It requires a little bit of extra work before you can actually set this up officially, but it's very easy and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to set this up. And then the second flow is abandoned checkout. So this is going to be your standard abandoned checkout flow. If someone goes to your website, clicks the checkout button and leaves from there, this is already available in Klaviyo. So it's really important to make sure you set up both flows with both triggers. The next one is leveraging SMS. Now, mobile users have the highest cart abandonment rate. It's over 80%. So the industry average for abandoned cart, as I mentioned before, is 70% of users actually abandon their cart, but 80% of mobile users actually abandon their cart. So it's even higher for mobile. Now, mobile shoppers are often on the move or they're multitasking. And the nature of this is that there are also a lot more interruptions. So they could get a push notification on their phone, or they could be waiting on the train and their train stop comes, so they leave. They could get a phone call. Any of these things, the nature of using a mobile device causes a substantially higher amount of drop off. A small screen also amplifies every extra field, hidden fee, or load time. So anything that is already problematic on your website, it's going to be even worse on a mobile experience. So we've already established that mobile users have a way higher cart abandonment rate. But the crazy thing is that SMS abandoned cart messages actually have the highest conversion rate. So it's a double-edged sword. Now, 20 carts can be recovered for every 100 cart abandonment texts that are sent. So the conversion rate is astronomical. So it's actually kind of crazy how many brands don't leverage SMS because it has the highest conversion rate and it also has the highest abandonment rate. So it seems like an absolute no-brainer. Now, the next one is the timing. Now, 31% of shoppers actually plan to buy the items that they saw, but just at a later time. That means that nearly a third of checkout abandoners aren't actually rejecting the product, they're just parking the decision. And consumers these days have very short attention spans. So with distractions everywhere like social media, push notifications, daily tasks, your email needs to arrive while the interest is still warm. Sending an email 6 hours later is way too late. And waiting 3 days, they've probably forgotten about your product altogether. You need to send consistent messaging so you'll always stay top of mind. Now, why the timing matters is exactly because of this memory decay. Shoppers often forget that they even added an item to their cart, and as time goes on, they're less likely to remember. Next is that we can leverage impulse buys. So timing can make or break a spontaneous decision. And lastly is the competition. If they don't hear from you, they'll definitely be hearing from your competitors. So most successful brands start their abandoned checkout recovery within 30 to 60 minutes of the customer abandoning the checkout. And then what we want to do is nurture with multiple follow-ups over a 7 to 10 day window. So we always want to stay top of mind. Now, this is a visual of what the memory decay curve looks like. So after someone abandons a checkout, if they don't receive any messaging, then this is kind of what's going to happen. So 30 minutes after, well, they're still probably going to remember. Now, a day later, they've probably already started getting ads from other brands. They've probably been on a ton more e-commerce websites. So your exact product is probably not going to be top of mind by this point. Now, 2 days later, their buying intent is basically frozen. It's pretty much going to stay the exact same. You're not going to be top of mind. And it's likely that they're going to start getting ads for competitors and they're going to start being redirected to their flows. So it's really, really important to strike while the iron is hot and keep sending emails to keep this memory decay up here and not like this. The next big thing is don't offer a discount straight away. Now, a lot of brands offer a discount in the first email, and I think this is a common trap. It seems like a quick fix, you're gonna get more sales, people like discounts, but it actually hurts your brand a lot long term. The problem with giving a discount straight away in email 1 is that it trains bad behavior. Once customers know that they're going to get 10% off by waiting, they'll always wait. You're teaching them to abandon their carts intentionally. Next is that it erodes your brand's value. If you lead with discounts, your product feels negotiable or overpriced. And lastly, it's going to kill your margins. It goes without saying, discounts should be strategic, not just a standard blanket practice, and especially for high LTV customers or premium products. You really don't want to be just offering discounts willy-nilly. So instead of just offering a discount in the first email that someone gets after they abandon a cart, elite brands use discounts as a last resort. They'll still use it, but they'll use it strategically. So what we want to do instead is in the first email that we send, just have a general reminder. You can focus on things like the product quality, customer reviews, urgency, or limited availability. And after the first few emails are sent, so we want to send at least 3 to 5 general reminder emails already. And if all of those reminders have gone unanswered, if someone hasn't still placed an order, then what we want to do is segment out returning customers. So if someone has purchased from you before, then we don't want to offer them a discount because they already know it's a good quality product. Then we shouldn't be cheapening our product for someone that's already placed an order. order. But if they haven't purchased from us before, then yes, we can offer them a discount. So the way that we want to do it is, again, send a few emails, then offer a discount only to new buyers. So I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up in Klaviyo, but this is the sort of basic structure of what we want to do. The next big thing that elite abandoned cart flows have is that they focus on risk reversal. Consumers these days are increasingly skeptical. They've been burned by shipping delays, hard to reach support, and low quality products. Your primary job is to eliminate fear and hesitation by proactively addressing common returns. So the way that we want to do this is including these sort of things in your emails. So free or easy returns, customer reviews, fast shipping or delivery dates. So we want to focus on the key things that the customer could be nervous about and just straight away resolve those things. So here are some examples of sections that you can add to your abandoned cart flow. So you can add things like reviews. You can add iconography that will support the customer through their journey. So contact us, our stores, find a retailer. Showcase your key USPs like your sustainable materials, free exchanges and returns, charity stuff, anything that you think will help resolve the customer's objections. And here's another example where it says 100-day free trial, free shipping and returns, find a store, etc. I think you get the point. What we want to do is we want to reverse engineer what those objections and risks are for the customer and already show them why they don't need to be worried about those risks. Next is having a design that is optimized for conversion. Now, I've seen abandoned cart emails that are way too long. They have way too much going on. It's too complex, but the best emails are not overloaded with info. It's just that the info that they have is punchy. Your job is to guide the reader's eyes from a compelling headline to the product to a clear CTA. So here are some best practices. So you always want to have the CTA above the fold. So here's an example. So the first 1500 pixels is usually what someone would see if they're browsing on a phone. As you can see, the first CTA is already above that, which is good. A lot of the times people need to scroll all the way down to get to the first button, which is a horrible practice. Next is using white space. So allow your content to breathe and have plenty of white space within the email. Don't overload it with too much going on. And then the next thing is having icons for trust. So I've already explained to you in the previous slide why this is important, but adding these icons always prime the customer for conversion. So now I'm going to go through a really good abandoned cart email, and I'm going to break down the exact strategy that they use using the principles that we've talked about. So let's start with the banner. So the first thing that they've done is that they've started with a risk reversal. They've given the customer a buy now, pay later option. So the first thing that the customer sees is play now, pay later with Klarna. Now, of course, this is a high ticket item. It's a guitar. And so a common objection that someone would have with an expensive product is that, well, I just can't afford to pay for it right now. So immediately what they've done is that they've resolved the biggest objection that customers will probably have with an expensive product. Next is the CTA above the fold. So I already talked about this, but the first CTA is right above in the banner image, which is really important to have because a lot of people won't even scroll. They'll just see this, they'll click the first button and they'll go to your website. Next, we show the exact product that the customer left in their cart. So this needs to be done using a dynamic block in Klaviyo, and I'm going to show you guys how to set this up. And they've got a CTA that lets the customer complete their purchase. Next is that they've added even more risk reversal. So here they've got the warranty and quality insurance stuff down here. And lastly, they've got even more risk reversal. So they've got even more info for support. So if any of these risk reversals didn't work, then the customer can just ask the brand directly about whatever they're concerned about to then hopefully resolve that immediately. So yeah, this is a really good email and it's perfectly built for conversion. So now I'm going to show you guys the exact flow structure and strategy that we like to use. So this is going to be the exact structure. So the structure is going to be the exact same for abandoned cart and abandoned checkout, but again, it's going to be two separate flows because the triggers are going to be two different triggers. So the trigger for the abandoned cart is going to be added to cart. Trigger for abandoned checkout is going to be checkout started. Now, the first question that we like to ask is, can this customer receive SMS? If they can't get SMS, then we're going to send them an email. And that first email is just going to be a basic reminder saying, hey, we saved your cart, come back to complete your order. If they can receive SMS, then we're going to send them a text message saying basically the same thing, give them a reminder to come back to the website and complete that purchase. Then the next message that they're going to get for SMS users is going to be, your cart is about to expire. So we're going to up the urgency just a little. Same story with the email. The email is going to focus on urgency and just saying that the cart's about to expire soon. You want to place an order before it expires. Now, after SMS 2, what we're going to do is we're going to include them back into our email flow. So these users are now going to start getting emails as well. And we're not going to send any more texts for now because people are pretty protective over their phone numbers and we don't want to bombard them with text after text, but emails we can send quite liberally. So the next email that everyone's going to get is going to be focused on reviews. So we're going to highlight some of the key reviews of the products that the customer left in their cart to then hopefully get them to feeling more comfortable placing an order. So by this point, we've sent 3 emails or 2 text messages and 1 email. And if they still haven't placed an order, this is a good opportunity to then give them a discount. So we're not going to give a discount to everyone, only people who haven't purchased before. So what we do is we add a split. So have they bought from us before? If the answer is no, then we'll give them a discount. But if the answer is yes, and they have purchased from us before, then we don't want to give them a discount. We just want to focus on a lot more urgency and just give them a last chance email. This is your last chance before your cart is expired. Now, on the other side, if they haven't purchased from us before, we want to have another split. Can the customer receive SMS? If they can't receive SMS, then we're going to give them an offer via their email. So we send an email saying you get 10% off. And then if they don't purchase from that, we want to up the urgency. And this is going to be the last email that we send saying your offer expires within 24 hours. Now that's going to be for the email side of things. If they can receive SMS, we just want to send them 2 text messages. So exact same strategy, get 10% off. And if they don't place an order, then we want to give them a final chance saying that your offer expires in 24 hours. It's always very critical if you have an offer, always have an expiry date and always tell the customer at least 24 to 48 hours before it's going to expire, because this FOMO gets a lot of people across that line. So this is pretty much the entire strategy and the structure of the flow that we want to set up. Now I'm going to show you guys examples of every single email and every single SMS so you know exactly what I'm talking about and you can basically mirror them for your brand. So if anyone can receive SMS, the first thing that we want to send is an SMS that says, did you forget something? So have your brand name and then say, did you forget to check out? We saved your cart, complete your order here. So it's just a gentle reminder to get them to take action. If they can't receive SMS, then of course we send them an email, which is going to be a similar story. So just saying, missing something. We know life can be crazy and there's a lot going on. So just give them a gentle reminder. This is going to be a dynamic product block. So the exact product that the customer left in their cart, we're going to show an image. So it's going to be an image of the exact product that the customer left in their cart. And then we want to have a CTA to take the customer to the cart to then complete the checkout. The next SMS that gets sent is going to be your cart is about to expire. So basically we just say, hurry, your cart's about to expire. Complete your order before it's gone. So we've upped the urgency a little on this text. And then for users that can't get SMS, then we want to send them an email, which is the same story. Your cart will expire soon, complete your purchase today. And again, same product block, same link to the cart. Now by this point, email 3 is going to get sent to everyone. So whether they receive SMS or not, everyone gets email 3, and this is going to be focused on reviews and risk reversal. So here, as you can see in this email, we've showcased some reviews and showcased some of the key USPs, some of the key information that someone needs to know before being comfortable placing an order. And again, it's going to be a dynamic block based on the exact product that the customer left in their cart. Now, email 4A is going to be a new customer discount. So again, if someone hasn't placed an order with you before, you want to give them a discount. So here, what we want to do is make sure the discount is nice and large, and it should be the first thing that the customer sees when they open the email. So as you can see, it says, you deserve better sleep. Here's 10% off. And this should be a dynamic product block based on exactly what the customer left in their cart. Same story with the CTA. And they've got a quote from a review down below, and then more risk reversal iconography down below that. So that's going to be email 4A. And anyone who can receive text messages, we're going to send them a text message. So it's going to be something like, still thinking about it. Here's 10% off to complete your order. Use code SAVE10 at checkout and get them straight to the checkout. Spaced nicely so it's easy to read. And that's pretty much it. So for email 4B, it's going to be an urgency-driven email. So this is someone who's purchased from us before. So we don't want to offer them a discount. We just want to make the email feel more urgent. So we want to say things like your saved items expire tonight. So give them a deadline, tell them exactly when it's going to be. And even within this copy, you can have a little bit more urgency as well. Again, dynamic product block, and then showcase some reviews down below. Now we get to the offer expiry. So for SMS, what we want to do is last chance, your 10% off discount expires in 24 hours. So we've given them an exact time frame, give them the discount code, and give them a link to then take them straight to the cart and complete that checkout. And then users who can't get SMS, it's going to be the same thing. So last chance to use the discount. So this copy is pretty good, but I like this design. Not a huge fan of this design, but that's why I kind of added both of these. The actual copy here is quite good. So this is a friendly reminder to use the 10% off before it's too late. We only do discounts on Black Friday. So this is your only chance of buying at a special price. So we want to show the discount code in the email and then get them to take action on your website. So design wise, I think it's pretty weak, but the copy was really, really good. Design wise, I like something more like this, where it's easy to read. They've used white space a lot better, and they've got great iconography to help with risk reversal. All right, so now we've gone through the entire flow strategy. I've showed you what the structure looks like, what every email and SMS should look like. Now I'm going to show you guys how to set this up on Klaviyo. So first of all, before we begin, the most important thing that needs to be set up is the abandoned cart trigger. So you need to install the Shopify added to cart trigger in your Klaviyo because it won't show up by default, meaning you won't be able to set up the abandoned cart flow if you don't do this first. So this does need to be set up manually. It's actually very easy. I'm going to show you guys exactly what to do. So these instructions are actually taken straight from Klaviyo, but I've pasted them here just so it's easy for you guys to find. But what we want to do is go to your Klaviyo, select the integrations tab on the left. So you click Shopify on the integrations page, and then on the on-site tracking section, which is this one over here, you want to make sure that you click track behavioral events. So once you've checked this button, you're going to see a message that says Klaviyo app embed is turned off. And what you need to do is click the turn on button. So once you click this turn on button, it's going to take you to your Shopify page. So sign in if you haven't done that already on Shopify, and then it's going to take you to your online store. So once you're on Shopify, on the left-hand side, it's going to show this section which says app embeds. So you need to make sure you click through here and this section will already show up, and then make sure Klaviyo on-site tracking is checked. So this needs to be switched on. So once you do that, click save on your theme editor and then go back to your Shopify integrations page on Klaviyo, click refresh, and then this should then be green. So once this is green, you're good to go. If you follow these instructions and it doesn't show up green, then I highly recommend contacting Klaviyo support. So once you've set this up and it's showing up as green, the next thing that we want to do is test the added to cart trigger to make sure that it's showing up correctly. So what we do to test this is go to your website, go to your homepage, and at the end of your website's URL, add this exact text. So this training document is going to be linked down in the description below. So you can open it up and you can copy this exact text. And what you want to do is replace the example@gmail.com with your email address. So this is an example. If you were the owner of Nike, what you would do is you'd go www.nike.com and / add that text and then replace this section with your email address. And then you hit enter and reload the page and go to a product page on your website, add a product to the cart and close the tab. So you're basically emulating what a customer would do. Then what you want to do is go to your Klaviyo dashboard. So go to your Klaviyo and search the exact email that you used and search it in profiles. And in your profile, it should be showing up as an added to cart should be the most recent event in the activity log of the profile. So to see this, you pretty much just need to click on the profile and the profile page will show up. And on the right is the activity log, and added to cart should be right there as the last thing that happens. So if you're not seeing this added to cart trigger show up, and occasionally this actually does happen, you will need to contact Klaviyo support. They'll get it sorted pretty quickly. You can either shoot them a message or just talk to them directly using their chat function, but they should be able to get this resolved pretty quickly. But make sure this shows up. If this doesn't show up, the flow won't work. So this needs to be set up before you can set up the abandoned cart flow. So once you've done all of this and it's working correctly, then you're ready to set up the flow on Klaviyo. So I'm going to open up my Klaviyo dashboard and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you exactly how we set up these flows on Klaviyo. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to set up the abandoned cart flow on your Klaviyo. So before you can actually start building this flow, it's firstly very important to make sure you've installed the Shopify added to cart trigger to your Klaviyo account. So if you haven't done this, make sure you do that first. And if you don't know how to do it, I've listed the exact step-by-step instructions in the training document that's linked down below for this video. So with that being said, let's get started. So we're going to go to flows and we're going to click create flow on the top right. And then we're going to search for the word cart. Now, these are all the options that show up. Now, it's very important to make sure that you don't select this first one because this first one is not the right one. This is actually going to be abandoned checkout. Now, what we need to find is the one that has the added to cart trigger, and that's the one. So I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click use template. Okay, so here we go. So now by default, it's got a few options. So this is what it looks like by default. It's got a conditional split with email and SMS, which is perfect for the flow that I'm going to be showing you guys. Now, if you don't want to use SMS for whatever reason, you can just click delete on this section over here where it's a conditional split, and then you can delete the yes path. Now, I like to use SMS for this flow, so I'm going to show you guys how we do it. So first of all, by default, this is going to be what the trigger says. So make sure this says added to cart, and for the filters, make sure it says checkout started 0 times since starting this flow, place order 0 times since starting this flow, and has not been in this flow in the last 7 days. Now you can play around with this. You can make it less or you can make it more, depending on how your audience reacts. Now 7 days I think is a pretty fair amount, so let's keep it there. Now the first time delay is 4 hours. I think that's going to be way too much, so I'm just going to have it as 1 hour. I'm going to click save. And then this conditional split is correct. Okay, so the first thing that we want to edit is going to be the text message. So we're going to click on the SMS and we're going to click edit. Now this is going to be the copy. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to delete this and add whatever copy you would like to do. So let's say it says, forgot something, complete your order today. Now I add some of these. And for the actual event URL, make sure this is the exact formatting. So it's already going to be there by default. If it's not there, just add this exactly, and that's it. So it's going to automatically take the user back to their cart, and it's going to already have all of the products that the customer left in their cart. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the text. Now, before you make this live, make sure you click this compliance button and select all the options that make it compliant in the regions that you're planning to send this. There are a lot of legal parameters when it comes to SMS, so make sure you do the right thing. So click compliance and just check all of the right boxes. Now, of course, this isn't legal advice, but just make sure what you're doing is correct in your country that you're planning to send to. So we're going to click save and continue. And now we're going to start editing the email. So click on the email, click edit. And basically what you want to do is you want to format this email to make it look like your brand. So of course, you're going to delete all these sections and add in your slices of your email design. If you like to build the email directly into Klaviyo, then just change up the copy, make it your brand colors, your brand fonts. Now this section pretty much can stay the exact same. The only thing you can change is if you want to delete the price, you can remove it there, and then the actual formatting of the section as well. So if you click on the actual split, go to styles, and then you can change the amount of space that each of these take. So this is going to be the exact image of the product that the customer left in their cart, and then this is obviously going to be the product name. So depending on how much space you want this to take up, we can say the image we want it to take up, let's say 65%, and then the text can be 35%. So this is pretty random, but you can just play around with it, see what looks best for your email design. But this is really all you need to change. And then the actual CTA button, make sure it again goes to the event URL. So that's basically it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the extra SMS. So I'll just clone this SMS and I'm going to add a time delay. And I'm going to make the time delay 23 hours. So that way SMS 1 is going to go exactly an hour later, and then 23 hours after that, which is going to be exactly 1 day after the customer abandoned their cart, we're going to send a follow-up text. So just like the first one, click edit and then change the copy. And that's pretty much it for the second SMS. Now for the email, what we want to do is we also want to add an additional email. So I'm going to clone this, and then I'm also going to clone the time delay and move it over. So basically what's going to happen is if someone can't receive SMS, they're just going to get emails. And if someone can get SMS, then they're going to get text messages for the first 2 texts. So then what we want to do is just start sending emails. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait 24 hours. So always keep it exactly a day apart. And this is going to be the third email. So it says email 2, but it's actually going to be email 3, which is going to be the reviews email. And then what we want to do is add another conditional split. So I'll move myself over, and what I'm going to do is click conditional split. And for the split, what I want to do is placed order, what someone has or has not done. Placed order at least once over all time. That's good. So this is anyone that has placed an order is going to go to this side. Anyone who's never placed an order is going to go to this side. So for this email, what we want to do is send an offer. Now I'm just going to clone this. Of course, the content of the email, you're going to want to change for every single email. I'm just cloning this just to build out the actual structure of the flow. So this email is going to be now, if someone's never purchased with you, it's going to be offer a discount, which is going to be email 4A. And then if they have purchased from you in the past, then we don't want to offer a discount. We're just going to focus on urgency. So again, I'm going to clone this email, put it up over here, and then this is going to be urgency driven. Click save. Now the only thing left is to sort out the time delays. So I just need to add one more time delay up here, make it 24 hours. And that's it for email 4. Now what we want to do is just add the SMSs for email 4 for anyone that can receive SMS. So we're going to add another conditional split. And this is going to be if someone can or cannot receive marketing. And then I'm going to say can receive SMS marketing. So as you can see, it's added the email for under yes if they can receive SMS. So I'm actually going to drag that over to the no. And then over here, I'm going to add an SMS. Again, I'm just going to clone one of my old SMSs. Click clone. And then I'm going to add it here. And this is going to be SMS 4A offer. Now we're almost done in terms of the flow, just the last thing left, which is adding one more email and one more SMS. So now I'm going to add a time delay and I'm going to add another time delay. Both of these are going to be 24 hours. You can also just do 1 day, but just because I've done it before, I'm just going to keep it as 24 hours. It's the same thing. So now what we're going to do is once this is done, I'm going to add my last SMS. So I'm going to just clone this, move it down, and then I'm going to clone this and move this down. So basically what I've added here is if they have placed an order with us in the past, then they're just going to get an urgency driven email. And for anyone who hasn't ordered with us in the past, if they can receive SMS, we're going to send them an SMS. So if they can receive SMS, then what we're going to do is send them an offer through SMS. And if we can't send them SMS, then we're going to send them an email. The first email is going to be a discount, and then we wait a day, and then we give them a last chance. So this is going to be last chance. So now the actual structure of all the emails and all the text and all the logic is set up. Now, what you need to do after that is going to be edit every single one by one, make sure that all the copy, all the design, and all the links are set up exactly the way that it should be for each email. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the abandoned cart. Now, for the abandoned checkout flow, it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing, except what we want to do is have a different trigger. So you're going to click create flow, and this time you can still search cart, but it's going to be the first one that shows up. So abandoned cart reminder, and we're going to click use template. Now here we're going to use the exact same structure that we used before. Of course, change the time delays, add all the duplicates, change all the copy. So it's going to be, the trigger needs to be checkout started instead of added to cart. And then what you want to do is set up both of these and then make them live. So that's pretty much it. Just make sure you follow the exact same instructions that I just went through for the abandoned cart. Now just do it over here, and that's it. So once all of the emails and everything is set up, and once you're ready, you can make it live. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I really appreciate your time. I hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, please consider subscribing or liking this video. It goes a very, very long way for our channel. Now, if you run a 7 or 8 figure ecom brand and you want someone to just set this up completely done for you, then book in a call using that first link in the description below. Let's have a chat and see how we can do the same for your brand. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.